How to make an avoidant regret losing you without saying a word. This strategy may look like doing nothing, just walking away, staying quiet, not chasing, but it's not what you think. Because the real power doesn't come from shouting, crying, or sending one last angry message. It comes from silence. The kind of silence that doesn't beg for attention, doesn't wait for a reply, doesn't hope for change. That silence, it's the one thing an avoidant never sees coming, and the one thing they can't control. When you stop reacting, stop checking in, stop trying to fix what they broke, something inside them starts to crack. Not because you yelled louder or loved harder, but because you finally stopped playing their game. And that's when regret begins. Most people believe to make someone miss you, you need to show them what they lost. Post happy photos. Date someone new. Send subtle hints. But with an avoidant, none of that works. They don't care about your new haircut or your vacation pics. What shakes them is when you disappear from their emotional radar. Not dramatically, but completely. They're used to being chased. Used to knowing that even if they ghost you for weeks, you'll still be there when they return, hopeful, hurt, but hanging on. So when you stop responding, not out of spite, but because you've genuinely moved on, it breaks their script. They start wondering why you're not texting back, why you didn't react to their story, why you seem fine. And that fine terrifies them more than any breakup speech ever could, because it means you didn't just leave, you healed, and they had nothing to do with it. They'll try all their old tricks, a random, "Hey, how are you?" text, a vague comment on your post, maybe even showing up at a place they know you go, not because they've changed, but because they're testing to see if you still care, if you still jump when they say jump. But when you don't reply, don't even glance their way, that's when panic sets in. Not the loud, dramatic kind, the quiet, gut-wrenching kind. They start replaying every conversation, every time they brush you off, every time you waited patiently while they disappeared. And for the first time, they see it not as you being too sensitive, but as them being emotionally unavailable. And that realization, it doesn't come with tears or apologies. It comes with silence. Your silence. The silence that tells them, without a single word, asterisk, you had your chance. I'm done, asterisk. They start checking your socials. Not because they're curious, but because they're desperate for a sign that you still think about them. A like, a comment, even a view. But when they find nothing, that's when it hits them. You're not playing hard to get. You're not waiting for them to change. You've already changed without them. And that's the part that destroys their ego. They spent years believing their distance made them powerful. That pulling away gave them control. But now, they're the ones reaching out. The ones left wondering. The ones feeling ignored. And it's not even personal. You're not ignoring them to hurt them. You're just living. And that's what kills them. Because your peace proves their worst fear. They weren't essential. Not to your happiness. Not to your future. Not even to your thoughts. They'll remember the little things. How you used to notice when they were stressed. Even when they said nothing. How you remember their favorite snack. Their weird inside jokes. The way they take their coffee. And now, someone else might know those things. Or worse, no one does. Because you were the one who paid attention. Not because you had to, but because you cared. And now that care is gone. Not redirected. Not hidden. Just gone. And they realize too late that you weren't just another person in their rotation. You were the exception. The one who didn't run when they got distant. The one who stayed kind even when they were cold. The one who saw their walls and didn't try to tear them down. Just waited patiently outside, hoping one day they'd open the door. But now the door's closed. Not by you slamming it. By you simply walking away and letting time lock it behind you. And here's the cruelest part. They can't blame you. You didn't scream. You didn't guilt trip. You didn't post shady captions or send passive-aggressive texts. You just stopped. Stopped caring if they replied. Stopped wondering if they'd change. Stopped investing energy where it wasn't returned. And that's what makes the regret stick. It's not fueled by anger or drama. It's fueled by clarity. They see themselves through your eyes now, not as mysterious or strong, but as scared. Scared of love. Scared of being known. Scared of needing someone. And they realize you offer them safety, not pressure, not demands, just space to be themselves. And they threw it away because they thought they could always come back. But you made the choice they never thought you'd make. You chose yourself. And that choice, it echoes louder than any goodbye ever could. They start imagining their future. And for the first time, it doesn't look cool or free. It looks lonely. They see themselves repeating the same patterns. Pulling away when things get real, pushing people to their limit, then wondering why no one sticks around. And now they know it's not because no one understands them. It's because they never let anyone close enough to try. Your silence becomes a mirror, showing them exactly what they built. A life where connection is always temporary, love is always conditional, and intimacy is always just out of reach. And they realize you were the bridge to something deeper. You didn't ask them to be perfect. You didn't demand they fix themselves overnight. You just asked them to show up. And they couldn't, or wouldn't. And now, that chance is gone. The final blow isn't loud. It's quiet. No slammed doors. No tearful speeches. Just stillness. Your social media goes dark to them. Not blocked, just ignored. Your phone stays silent. Not because you're punishing them, but because you've got better things to do. You're laughing with friends who reply instantly. You're building routines that don't leave space for their chaos. You're sleeping through the night without checking if they texted. And they feel it, not because you told them, but because your absence speaks in volumes. They'll send a message, maybe weeks later, maybe months, just to test the waters. And when it floats there unanswered, not even seen, that's when it sinks in. This isn't a timeout. This isn't a game. This is the end. And they had all the warning signs. Every time you gave them space, every time you forgave their distance, every time you waited patiently, and they mistook your strength for weakness, your patience for permanence, your love for guarantee. If you're the one who walked away without a word, this is your confirmation. You did the right thing, not to hurt them, not to teach them a lesson, but to save yourself. Because staying would have meant shrinking, again and again, to fit into their limited version of love. And if you're the avoidant reading this, feeling that twist in your chest, good. Let it sit. Let it sting. Because the person who loved you through your walls, they weren't common. They were rare. And once they stopped caring, no amount of late-night texts or sudden vulnerability will bring them back. The door isn't locked. It's just closed, and behind it, a life they built without you. If this hit home, give a thumbs up, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Subscribe if you want more truths like this, because healing starts when you stop chasing ghosts and start honoring your own peace. You deserve that, and so does the next chapter, the one where you're finally free.